Hey guys, this is Gaijin Hunter introducing my 3 top Prowlers I'm going to be sharing from Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate. First one up is my Protect Prowler, which is Gaijin. This is what I use to beat G rank solo. Level 99, obviously you won't unlock until after you beat G rank, but look at that defense. This is a Rajang armor, so there's even stronger stuff later in the game, but 702 defense is just incredible. This is pretty much a gunner weapon, but with Blade Master defense and even blunt type weapon type attack. 349 for the Atal Ka weapon is ridiculous, and it gets even better depending on the weapon that you have, but yeah, top quality stats. But what makes this Protect Prowler really stand out is the configuration that I gave it, which is an ABCCC and BBCCC. Check out my Prowler guide if you don't know what that means. Comes with Taunt, which is great because it gives you 45 seconds of SP mode, so if you got tons of gauge and you're online, go ahead and throw on Taunt and you'll be able to throw everybody into SP mode. Emergency Retreat, obviously very good for getting out of the way, especially if you need to run away and go and eat for acorns, like go to the bed. Health Horn, you may be asking yourself, well, why do I have that if I have Emergency Retreat on? That's because Health Horn actually heals quite a bit, and it heals everybody in your entire team, so it's actually really good if you have the space to use it. Forbidden Acorn is a complete game changer, allows you to down one of your acorns permanently until you cart, and it gives you 3 gauges, so you can go in blazing, so to say. Big Boomerangs to go with the Pierce, the Dung Bombay to get rid of monsters you don't want with you, and then to go over here we have Barrel Bombay. It's actually interesting, but a Protect Prowler can actually get a lot of gauge by throwing bombs, so it is one of the optional things that you can do. Then finally, of course, we have the Piercing Boomerangs, which I taught the cat because it needs to be taught it from another cat. And then also the Farcaster, which is a Farcaster but for cats. You can actually turn this off if you want to teach it another skill, you can go for it, but I like it because it allows you to go back to camp in one of those like weird emergencies where you need to go sleep at camp and replenish your acorns. It'll allow you to do it, or if you're using it for like a gathering quest or anything like that. So I just like it, it's just kind of there, but it's not really integral to the build. Let's check out its passive skills. It comes of course with Guard S and Guard Boost, which allows you to guard anything that you want, even like a Rajan laser or whatever. For skills that I gave it a B, B, C, 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 C. B skill here, Guard L, is great. It really decreases the amount of life and stamina you lose when you get hit. Almost no knockback, so you just hold R if you just don't know what to do and you're in a panic. It goes great with Guard Boost. Critical Up L, of course, is a fantastic skill. Tremor Resistance for staying ground potential, negate poison in case you're up against a negate poison monster. Stamina Drain you can actually swap out for anything you want, it's just kind of like the bonus that's kind of there. And of course Boomerang Pro. And for teaching its skills you do get 2 slots, so I taught it range attacked up. Even though it was nerfed, it's still pretty powerful. And I'm saving that last slot for the Feline Weakness Exploit once they release it. That was on a DLC cat in Japan, so we'll see when it's going to be released for the West. Now let's go see this cat in action, because it does come with one really important thing, which is the Adept Guard. So when you hit R, he'll do an Adept Guard. You can press X to do a spin, A to do a boomerang combo, or you can just evade from it. If you see here, you can just down an acorn right at the very beginning and get 3 gauges, so you can go in there with boomerangs full and loaded and ready to go. Of course, you do get only 1 cart, so to say, that's free before you actually cart, but that's okay. So here you can see the Adept Guard is just really powerful. You don't lose any health, you don't lose any stamina, and you can follow it up on an attack really fast. And every time you guard, it increases your support gauge. So this cat's actually pretty easy at maintaining the gauges that it needs to both not only always have those 2 boomerangs sort of active, but also to have enough gauge to do some heals, whether it's the heal horn for the group or emergency retreat to just get out of there and heal or replenish like your status ailments. You can just do the Adept Guard and evade out of the way. It buffs your gauge, makes it so you don't take any damage. It's really good and keeps you out of the way. Again, with all the Prowlers, not just the Protect one, just holding guard is actually really powerful. So don't be afraid to use it if you're not sure what to do. So yeah, so basically this is a Prowler that's really good at using balance type weapons because it has really good melee potential, it has good range obviously with the boomerangs, and anytime you hit that Adept Guard you're going to be generally doing a spin or the boomerang combo, so this is just a really good cat for balanced weapons. You make good use of that lunge that you can do after you throw boomerangs and you press X because you can mount monsters, which is really good. And yeah, just enjoy wrecking house. This cat really has amazing ground staying potential. Great defense, great offense. It all around is my favorite Prowler in the entire game. Is the Protect type for this one. and this is my favorite configuration. So if you do get the gaijin Prowler, I hope you guys enjoyed this cat. Do teach him the skills that you want and give him a lot of love. Next up is Yuri, the most powerful boomerang cat in the game, named after the community manager for Monster Hunter in the United States. Not only does it get the triple boomerang, it has more range power than even the assist cat. It builds up natural gauge even faster when using boomerangs than the assist cat, and it has one of the highest natural building gauge power when it's in battle with a monster. So yeah, this cat is just filled with gauge power and just triple boomerangs up the wazoo. Let's check out the build I have for it. If you notice, its defense though is low. It is the weakness of this cat, is it has lower defense but really high ranged attack. Almost 400 here is just disgusting, and when you start landing triple boomerangs and boomerang melee combos, these are going to be flinching and dying left and right. Okay, let's check out the loadout that I gave it. It came with Plunderang, which is great because if you steal from a monster and you have all that gauge, it actually drops a shiny, a red one that everybody in the team can gather. So if you're just farming monsters and you're not worried about gauge, go ahead and use the Plunderang. It's very good for getting more extra materials. Piercing boomerangs, of course, it comes with naturally, which is very nice. Then we have Health Horn, which I covered with gaijin, why I use it, because it's very powerful. Mega Boomerang, the next one, is kind of the meta here in Japan. It's much more powerful in this game than it was in the previous. When you throw it, it has some staying power, and it'll just hover in a distance and do multiple hits, so it's actually very powerful if you can master it. Dung to get rid of unwanted monsters, Big Boomerangs to go with the Pierce, and then for these ones we have Soothing Roll to get out of there and heal really fast. It's kind of like the Emergency Evade, but even better. This is good because for this cat you're going to be using only boomerangs, so you want to be far away, so Soothing Roll is a better choice than the Emergency Evade. And for the skills I taught it, of course, Forbidden Acorn being the awesome skill that allows you to eat one of your acorns for 3 full gauges right at the beginning of the hunt or anytime you want. And Farcatster if you want to sort of go back to camp anytime fast. Really good because this is a collect cat. You may be using this cat for collect missions in the game. For passive skills, it does have the Pilfer Boost and the Gathering Pro. Those are by default. Earplugs, because you want to be able to stay there and just do triple boomerangs. You don't want to get interrupted. That is high grade earplugs. Artful Dodger is a fantastic skill. This is basically evade +1 for a cat. It's +1, so you still have to be pretty good about your timing, but it is really nice. If you don't want it on, you can just take that off, or earplugs, put on critical up large. So you have lots of choices here with your skill loadout. Boomerang Pro, of course you need, because it charges up your boomerangs faster, and they do just give you better DPS. Negate poison in case you're up against a poison monster. Range attack up, even though it's nerfed, is kind of good, and you can teach it Weakness Exploit once it's out. Okay, enough talking, and let's go do some hunting, shall we? So let's go ahead. You notice I already have almost 2 gauges of bar already just through talking, and that's because this cat does have, next to Heal Cat, one of the higher gauges refills for just natural recovery rate. We're going to go ahead and pop an acorn and get double boomerangs here and run right in to battle. Now if you notice, earplugs are just fantastic because it allows it to sort of stay there and just hit off triple boomerangs when a monster is yelling. Here you can see that evasion +1 coming in handy. I would have gotten it if I didn't avoid that quite right. For this cat, it's really about positioning. It's kind of like a bowgun in a way. You just want to make sure you run into position and be able to pull off that triple boomerang. Very unlike what I'm showing right here, which is just horrible play, but at least I'm showing off evasion, right? So yeah, why that second boomerang was a little nerfed and was made a little bit weaker in the game, the third boomerang is just absolutely a powerhouse. Now I admit I'm still a novice at using Mega Boomerang. I should have been farther away here. I should have just threw it from about the edge, but let me show you what it looks like, at least when you whip it. It does take a little bit to charge up, and you'll throw it and it'll just stay in place and do a lot of hits. If you notice, it's still in the air there, so if you can really time out your distance, you can do a lot of damage for just 2 gauges. So it definitely is kind of the meta if you know what you're doing. And then finally we have my third favorite Prowler in the game, which is a Heal Cat. I know what you're thinking, a Heal Cat? Yes. I called this cat Yuna after my daughter, that's her name. I'm going to show you what makes her so awesome. At level 99, she's got right in between Protect and sort of Gather. 675 defense with what I have on, even though it's transmogged. Is actually just really good defense, and she's got very good balanced melee and range, but especially for range, she's very good. We're going to go over here and see the skill loadout that I gave her. So a Heal Cat comes with the True Health Horn, which is absolutely fantastic. It heals tons of health with all the health horns, whether it's the True Health, the Herb Horn, or even the Health Horn. With a Heal Cat, when you toot it, if you don't evade or get out of it and you just stand there, it'll actually do a follow-up toot, which will replenish even more health. So it's actually very, very powerful. Cheer Horn is just there, use it if you want. Health Horn, you're probably wondering, why do I have health if I also have true health? Well, that 1 gauge makes a huge difference, so if you can get off that second toot, the Health Horn is just as good as the true Health Horn. Mega Boomerang, you can change out for anything you want. I just have it on there because it's kind of meta and I'm just trying to learn it. But it is powerful if you know what you're doing. Big Boomerangs to go with the Pierce, which I taught it. Dung to get rid of unwanted monsters. And as a Palico, this is great. The Ultrasonic Horn, when they blow it, will make all the small monsters in the area flee. So very good. She's great if you have her as a Palico as well. Then Piercing Boomerangs, I taught her, as well as Forbidden Acorn, which is the skill which I've covered in the last 2 Prowlers. Again, this is a cat that is good for both a Prowler and a Palico. So for the loadout here, we have, it comes of course with Defense Up S and Horn Virtuoso, which you want to put on if it is a Palico. Makes her play horns more often. Earplugs and Counter Boost. Earplugs allows her to stay safe. Obviously when she's blowing a horn, she won't get interrupted. Counter Boost, if you get hit, it actually raises your gauge quite a bit. This is actually really good because you're going to get hit. I'm sorry. If you're a perfect player, then you probably don't care about any of this except for Attack Up L and Critical L, but for most of us, and if she's a Palico, the Counter Boost just is really great for getting even more gauge to do heals and boomerangs and stuff like that. For power output, she does have the option of having Critical Up L, so if you want to take off earplugs or if you don't want the Counter Boost, you can take that off and just stack in power if you want. Negate Poison, which is a great staple for any cat if you're up against a monster that does poison. Boomerang Pro for those boomerangs, and then I taught her ranged attack up, even though it's a little weaker than normal, and she's got an extra slot for that DLC skill for Feline Weakness Exploit once that is available. Now check out this support gauge. I did this sort of talking part faster than I did even the Collect Cat, and she's almost at 2 full gauges already because she has the fastest build-up gauge both in and outside of battle. It's absolutely ridiculous. We're going to go ahead and pop acorns anyways, but really this cat just always has tons of gauge, much unlike Heel Cat was in the previous generations. Not only do they get the double toot in the horns, the triple boomerangs for power, but also fast gauge buildup. Really, this is a fantastic cat with really balanced stats to boot. So here, just like the Collect Cat, you can see where the earplugs really come in handy for just being able to abuse those boomerangs. Very fun. Get out of the way, you don't want to get hit by that. Let me get hit a little bit so I can show you off the heel horns, but basically this cat plays pretty much just like a Collect Prowler, where the Collect will use stuff for like the Mega Boomerang and stuff like that, or even the Pilfer. If you have the extra gauge and time to do it, this cat will be doing heals for the entire group. Okay, I've purposely taken a beating. Here is the True Health Horn. Boom! Huge heal. And if you let her go, she'll do that second toot, which is a follow-up Herb Horn. Very nice. It replenishes quite a bit of health. And remember, that's not just for you. That is everybody in the entire hunt. So that's pretty sweet. In most cases, though, you can get away with just using the Health Horn. Here's what that looked like if I do 2 toots. There's the first one, quite a bit. And then the second one. So yeah, very strong. One extra skill you can put on this cat, which I recommend, is the Detox Horn, which allow you to cure everybody's status ailments, and as a Palico is actually quite useful as well. And here you see you can only do 1 toot if you want to. You can evade out, you don't have to do 2. Very fun. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this introduction to these 3 cats. I'm going to be sharing them online as much as I can, and I hope that everybody else shares them as well and customize them how you like. But I hope this helps you get into Prowler, because it really is my favorite weapon in this game and really powerful and just tons of fun. Thank you for watching this video. Hit that like button if you liked it, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, happy hunting.